think Jason just found his new announcer. Happy Thursday, friends. I am so excited to introduce you to Sam Miller. Some of you in the room already know who he is, but if you don't, I'm excited to introduce you to him today. So Sam Miller is the founder of Dreaming Made Simple. He was born with cerebral palsy. Sam has a passion for helping people overcome limitations and setbacks through discovering practical steps to reach their dreams and goals. He is certified by the world's #1 leadership expert, John Maxwell, to coach, speak, and train. He is the author of Impossible: Life Lessons on Thriving with a Disability, and he is here to talk to us today about not you or me, but us, an inclusive culture. So welcome, Sam Miller.
Got my hands full. There we go. Also privileged to be part of Toastmasters with Julia Isa-Ganto. Wow, there's like feedback there. What do I need to do so it's not so echoey? Pull it away like this? Okay, hold it down here. Is this good? Okay, well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Ashley, and thank you for putting up with my technical difficulties with the mic. Actually, that's part of my background. Speaking of announcing, Ashley just mentioned, I love public address announcing. I love sports. That's where I got my start, and so I have a soft spot for that. So hopefully I know how to use this thing today. I think I probably need to move over toward this box so that nobody misses out on the Zoom. Hello out there in Zoom land. I am Coach Sam. I am the founder of Dreaming Made Simple, and actually, I forgot it's on your YouTube channel, so I will tune back into myself and look at that later. But I'm so glad to be with you, so honored to be with you at Peoria Rotary North. And basically, Ashley mentioned, my company is Dreaming Made Simple, and my passion, my heart is to serve neurodiverse individuals like myself, individuals with a disability like myself. I have cerebral palsy, which for me, cerebral palsy takes several different forms, but for me, it looks like a weakness on the left side of my body. I clench up a little bit when I'm nervous, and I'm a little nervous to be with you today. It's an honor to be here, but a thrill as well. And basically, the last several years, I've been working in my company, Dreaming Made Simple, facilitating group coaching, some writing and training workshops with individuals like me who, everybody has dreams and goals, right? And so my heartbeat is to say, my mantra is find a way, because you can either look at your limitations and your circumstances, like the cerebral palsy, the weakness on the left side of my body, and so forth, or you can say, what is possible? Like Ashley mentioned, my book's I'm Possible, and that's what it's all about, is going from surviving to thriving. I think that's what we all want, and that's my hope to get the individuals that I work with, the individuals with developmental disabilities and otherwise, ways to pursue their dreams and goals. For example, just to put it in context, one individual that I've worked with for the last couple of years, he's a fellow creative, so he has lots of great ideas, but it's been my privilege to work with him on a weekly basis and be like, okay, you have these great ideas. How can we turn it into something that you're proud of? And, for me, I had this foundation of finding a way because of the community that I grew up in, because of the community that's always surrounded me. And so one of the things that I say in my workshops and with my clients on a weekly basis is I say, hey, all of us have gifts, skills, and talents that are meant to complement the people around us, the people that we work with, the people that are friends, the people that we have relationships with, and so forth. And so, but part of my role, part of my privilege is helping to cultivate that awareness so that if I'm more aware of my strengths and my abilities, then I can look for opportunities to better serve others. And that's where this message is coming from this afternoon for the next 20 minutes or so, whatever I have, Jim will let me know, that it's not you or I, but us. And because it's about service above self, it really is. I tell them on a weekly basis that what I can accomplish as an individual may or may not be limited. But if I look for opportunities to serve the people around me with my gifts and skills and talents, and also look for where they can come alongside me and we can team up, then the impact will be that much greater. Which again, I think is my understanding what Rotary is so much about. As I mentioned, I was born with cerebral palsy, but you know, there's choices that we all have to make. And so this afternoon, what I'm going to talk about is I've already started to lay a foundation of the importance of community, the importance of teamwork, and so once I get you to kind of grasp hold of that idea of community and teamwork from my perspective, then we'll go on to, you know, okay, so your understanding that we all have puzzle pieces and we all need to be part of a team, but how do we really optimize our team? How do we really optimize our group or our organization? And then finally, because like I mentioned, I have a background of 12 years in sports journalism in a few different capacities, then I'm going to tie it all together, hopefully, with a game plan, because any coach, any team needs a game plan to be able to execute successfully. So that's where we're going in the next few minutes. I appreciate you joining me on this journey. You might call it the I'm Possible journey. And while I'm on that note, let me just explain my title of my book, I'm Possible. It's really so much of life, as I mentioned, is a matter of perspective. So are you looking at it as impossible, what's not possible, what's hard, what's an obstacle? Or are you looking at it as, okay, I've been given gifts and skills and talents, there's a lot that I can't do, but what can I do? And to keep looking until I find it, to keep looking at, you know, what the organization can do. Because, you know, the same obstacles that I face as an individual, similarly, the larger group faces. But together, we can always accomplish more. For me, the foundation of I'm Possible, finding a way, and so forth, started as I mentioned, I was privileged to grow up in Central Illinois in Morton. I was privileged to be a Morton Potter, and it was the coaches and teachers and even the parents of the Morton School District who said, Sam, we see that you really love basketball. I grew up in Michael Jordan's prime, and I say that there's nothing like the sound of a swoosh. It's my favorite sound in the world. But at the same time, you know, again, depending on what I was focusing on, then it's like, okay, I can only play basketball with one hand, and that's not going to serve a team. But again, how can I serve a team? And I would encourage you that even as I'm speaking right now, think in terms of the teams, the committees, the organizations that you're part of, and think in terms of, okay, it's easy to get hung up on what can't happen, what this individual or these people can't do, but what can they do? And again, how can I optimize that? So that's the question. For me, again, I mentioned awareness earlier. I'm so thankful to my coach, my speech team coach in high school a number of years ago at Morton, Susie Knobloch. Some of you might know her. She was a longtime teacher at Morton and then at Washington, and now she's one of the higher ups at the Illinois High School Association. And Susie, again, coming back to that theme, she saw what I was struggling with. She saw what our team was struggling with. But she said, Sam, I see that you're passionate about speaking, and you're passionate about becoming your best self. So how can we put you in a position that will best help our team? And through that process, it took a little while, but she said, Sam, what if you did a monologue about what it's like to have cerebral palsy? And in that process, I came to grips and I thought about and confronted cerebral palsy in a way that I never had before. And so I'm so thankful to Susie, who, again, started to solidify and build on that foundation of can do. So I mentioned Susie in the team context there, and then I mentioned Morton High School and finding my own unique path to be around the games and the teams that I love. And so you can see that I'm definitely a team first guy. I'm a we guy rather than an I guy. So now, as I alluded to earlier, now that I've kind of got you hopefully in the rah-rah team mindset, let's talk about do's and don'ts as you either think of incorporating team members or improving the team that you already have. And I'm going to speak from my experience for the next couple minutes from a neurodiverse, having a disability perspective. But I would say that, the first part of that is all of us are more similar than we might stop to think and realize at times. We all want to be included. We all want to be empowered. We all want to be in positions to give our best, to shine, and to contribute. And so with that in mind, that our biggest desire as individuals and as the greater team is to be seen and utilized, the first question that I have for you, again, that I've already alluded to, is what strengths do the members of my team have? Do the members of my committee have? Secondly, along with that, when you're asking questions, ask questions for discovery, ask questions for understanding. You know what, maybe it's just me, but I'm okay if people ask me, hey, why do you walk just a little bit funny? I notice that you don't walk like I do. Because I realize if it's done with the right heart, questions are a great bridge. Questions are a great bridge when you ask for understanding. And then also thinking in terms of the neurodiverse and individuals like myself with cerebral palsy, I would say, as we think about optimizing our team, I would encourage you to have a limitless mindset. And while you're asking questions, don't intentionally or unintentionally limit people as best you can through pity or assumptions. Let me give you an example. For me, it's easy to say, okay, he walks a little bit funny, he walks a little bit differently, so he probably doesn't like walking or whatever. Well, I'll tell you, I sometimes have walked up to 6 miles a day regularly in different parts of my life. And so although I may not be the fastest guy or whatever, I definitely have endurance. And so, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't ask the question. So I would encourage you not to be afraid to ask the question. Again, as I kind of wrap this around a game plan, I would boil it down to this. Again, my company, Dreaming Made Simple, is all about pursuing the dreams and the goals in your heart. And I would say, just as a bonus, this wasn't in my notes, but I would say that I would define a dream as a passion or something that you think about regularly that you can't shake. That it's like, that's what I go to, that's what I gravitate to when I have a free moment. And I would challenge you, or I would suggest that if you have this dream, this passion that you're not doing something with, ask yourself why. Because there's a reason why you gravitate toward that. And I think that I would encourage you to find an expression for it in a healthy way. But as I tie this together in a game plan in terms of dreaming and doing, and that dreaming and doing go hand in hand, I would suggest to you, I would call to mind a quote from Walt Disney. And he said, if you can dream it, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it. I think that everything starts with imagination, with dreaming. And again, if we think in terms of what's possible instead of thinking what the obstacles are or the hindrances or disqualifying in one way or another, you realize that the Disney empire started with a mouse. Well, if we think about that a little bit more pointedly, a mouse can be looked at as undesirable, can be looked at as insignificant, or can be looked at as the start of an empire. So much of life, so much of our interaction in our organization, our team's potential is about perspective. And while we're on the topic of imagining and dreaming, again, dreaming and doing go hand in hand. So I know I'm speaking to business people here, so you're all probably familiar with SMART goals. But if you need a refresher or haven't thought about it in that way in a while, I would remind you that SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and timely. And the more you can, as I'm wrapping this up over the next few minutes, I would just suggest to you, think of a goal that you can put in that framework, so that hopefully you can get fresh, new results for that goal or that dream. I would also suggest, not to contradict what I said in terms of SMART goals, I would suggest that it's important to hold a dream or a goal loosely, because dreaming is as much about who you're becoming as it is about the endpoint or the goal. In other words, what's the character being cultivated? As Peoria-Rotary North goes out and does these service projects, yes, we're talking about impact, but how are we representing Peoria? How are we, who are we becoming as a group? How is Peoria-Rotary North evolving as they do their wonderful service work? Then I would suggest to you a reframing, perhaps, that a mentor offered me and several classmates many years ago. He said, I know some people look at accountability as a dirty word. It's something that, I caught you doing this, or I want to keep you from this. And he said, I want you to reframe accountability as more, okay, I'm part of your team, I might be your coach, might be your leader, and I'm accounting for your ability, like in an accounting standpoint. I know this club has expressed a desire to do this goal or project. So what's keeping us from doing that? And taking a supportive look. And again, looking for solutions and possibilities rather than roadblocks or impossibilities. Finally, I would say that dream work takes teamwork and cooperation. That dreaming is about working together for the common good, so that your dream can be much bigger collectively than individually. I love the proverb that you might be familiar with. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone, which I will not be doing, because I can't go fast, and so I won't be going alone. But I will be going far, because I'm going with a team. I'm going with a group. And I so thank you for inviting me to be part of your group, your team, this afternoon. Thank you very much. I will open it up to questions.
When did you get the bug to write a book?
Well, it's funny that you use the word bug, because I think, like a lot of us, I'm not one to sit around either. I mean, I'm inspired by Hannah for sure, because I'm not one to sit around either. So I realized about the time COVID came around, I said, I've always wanted to write a book, and now some opportunities are, some pathways are closing, at least temporarily. So how can I make the most of this time? And how can I still impact people? And so I put some things together and came up with 45, I like to call them, life-changing lessons or bite-sized lessons for busy parents, because you can either read them in 5 minutes or you can take a few hours and just really reflect on them. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for coming, and I have 2 short questions. One, you've mentioned your book, where can I find it and buy it? And number 2, you mentioned Michael Jordan. I wanted to know who you follow now and who you like to write about.
And I'm sorry, what's your name?
Jen.
Jen, okay. Jen, thank you for asking. So a bit more about me, more about my materials are on my website, dreamingmadesimple.com. That's and I'm sorry, I don't have it on a slide. dreamingmadesimple.com, or you can find it on Amazon. I also have an ebook called the Dreaming Made Simple Starter Guide. If you're like, okay, it's been a little while since I thought about my dreams and goals, here are 6 lessons. I think it's like a 24-page ebook to really give you a fresh pep in your step, so to speak. I love just being current. I mean, I was watching Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Basketball is still my first love. A lot of people scoff at it or question it after Jordan left, which I understand. But again, there's nothing like the sound of a swoosh. And so I'm always looking for opportunities to go to sports and be involved with sports.
I'm familiar with John Maxwell, but I can't remember if it was a certification or what that you have with him. How did that come about, and what's involved in it?
Yeah, so I don't know, things are always changing. The world we live in is super competitive, so there might be somebody that's passed them up in terms of certifications, but basically it's coaching, it's speaking, it's training, and they teach you virtually, and then they have a conference that lasts 3 or 4 days in Orlando every year where you get certified in person for that. But basically, then you have license to speak and train and teach from John's materials. All right, thank you very much.